This is ash, Fraxinus Ornus, huge leaves, not really interesting bark and very coarse growth. All the properties which make really terrible bonsai. In next 20 minutes I will go and I will cut back this tree and I will talk a little bit about ashes and try to convince you that it's other way around. It's very good species for bonsai, and at the end of the video I will show you two really good trees which were growing next to this one, collected maybe decade earlier than this specimen. This tree was repotted in the spring this year, so about 2-3 months. So you can see all this growth is from last 2 months. As you can see on the footage, this trunk was really high. For a longer period of time I was thinking about creating longer tree here, and I changed my mind in spring this year and I chopped it, and this was last branch which was there, and now I have this one which is already here, which most probably will go somewhere in this space. There is one fundamental potential problem, and this is number of trunk. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 trunks, usually it's not recommended. In my case, I don't think it's a really big problem. Why is that? Because each single trunk has different movement, different shape and different caliper. So this one is really huge. This is the secondary, this is the tertiary, and this is the fourth trunk, which is completely different diameter. It's maybe half of that. How I can approach the styling of this tree, I was looking at it and I'm going to maybe create this as one separated crown here, this as one crown which will go here. This will be third part of a crown which will go into this space, and there will be the main crown. Usually the main crown is the less complicated, but this one, as you see on older footage, there is a big chop here when the tree was collected, and there is a lot of dead wood and ugly transition to not yet thick enough branches. So what I will have to do is that I will have to carve this part of dead wood off, try some kind of cut paste combined metallic tape, which I started to do on different type of species already, and then see if it's able to heal or not. There are 3-4 branches here at the apex area. I keep some of this growth to accelerate and to create as much sugars which will go down next or will flow next to the cut of this large wound, and most probably they will help to heal. So the rest can be cut back. This is typical work on ash trees. You need to be really strict here. And for example, I will show you, if you want to achieve some kind of movement and ramification, the ash has this kind of apical bud and very strong growth. If you leave it like this, for example here, it will grow really strongly and it will create a lot of sugars here, and this branch will be very thick very soon. On some parts of the tree I need it, on some parts I don't need it. Yeah? For example, this is the separated crown. We can start from this one. So I will go and I will cut back all this growth which is here and which is too long. I will cut it on one note, and then we will talk also about leaf size. The ashes are really spectacular trees talking about leaf reduction. They are able and willing to shorten, to shrink the leaf size easily to something like this, even smaller, but you need to create much denser ramification, and then the small foliage will come. And dense ramification means that you have to, on the places where I have 3 branches, like for example here, I will choose only 2, and all the apical buds needs to be removed, and it will promote back budding. So I can expect in the next few weeks new flash of growth. With ashes you have to be careful because they tend to create 3-4 branches from one spot, and then you have a problem because you will have thick place on the trunk. I will show you how it looks like when it happened. I don't have to be really afraid because I know how they are responding to this kind of treatment. I learned it over the last few years that they are really strong species. They tolerate all common bonsai techniques: partial defoliation, full defoliation, leaf reduction. For example, if I want to, let's say, reduce the foliar mass, I can remove, let's say, some parts of those leaves. It will be absolutely no problem. So this crown, not really a lot of styling needed here. Maybe it's going too far, so maybe this part is too far already and I need to go back. I think maybe this section is too long already, so I may decide to shorten it and to start to build the crown from here. Now we go to secondary trunk, which is here. There is also the cut which was done during the collection. We can look there how much of the healing was produced there and maybe rework the wound. So ash is one of those species which is able to heal even the big wounds. The paste is quite dry. It's a good moment to exchange it for another batch. I'm again going to use the white one, but I need to refresh the wound periphery, which goes really easily on this species. No problem. I have 4 branches at this junction, and I think this will be redundant. So while recutting the callus, I'm also going to extend this wound here. And use this opportunity to create more taper at this junction of the branches. And now I'm going to apply metallic tape. So let's see how it will work. This is okay. I need this one to be thicker, so I'm not going to cut back that branch, but this is too long and too thick, so I'm going to cut this back to first bud. So this is typical ash junction where you have 4 or 5 branches very close to each other, and it's very hard to rectify. So this needs to be solved with hard pruning back. This branch is okay, but this is too much. This is too much and this is too much. This is creating really ugly place. So I want something which go here. So I may decide that I want either one of those or remove it completely. Maybe it's too dense already. So we can start with those which are going inside, and see how much space we can free by removing those. We don't need that one. Maybe we can try it like this. This will be gone. We shorten this. We shorten this. It will grow well, even without any leaves. It will back bud. So this looks good already. We need to remove this bud. No. This is too thick already going here, and I think it will be problem. So we better get rid of this problem now and work with this. We don't need it there. So also here, first bud, I'm going to shorten it here. I don't need to really have it super thick. So the second tree is done. So this one is going here. This branch stays like this because we need to thicken it a little bit so it's thicker than anything else here. This crown is going here into that section, not too much longer, so everything needs to be in check. There will be some wiring here at these branches, so they will go in positions where I want to have them, so they move in this kind of direction here. So they go up and away from the crown and try to find the place below the big tree, which has much bigger foliage, and it's creating challenges for these smaller trees. So they are trying to move in that kind of direction to find the sufficient source of light to support its growth. I'm going to let those grow faster, and then this was done 2 months ago, so I leave it for a while, and then I'm going to carve it and create transition from that trunk to here, and this must be much thicker in the next few seasons. It's possible because this is new growth, so with enough foliage the ash is able to thicken this part to, let's say, 1/2 inch in a short period of time. So I keep this as a sacrifice branch, and most probably I will remove all this part, or I will cut it. I'm going to keep those bottom longer, and I'm going to look here at the top. These side branches I keep as a sacrifice, so this will be thicker. I don't need to be that thick. Only last thing I need to do is some kind of decision here. So it's like 4 from almost same place. So and 1 is a sacrifice, and that's all. So it will go here and here, and then we will do some decision here. So maybe remove this one or move it somewhere away from that trunk, so keep that space empty if this is the front. So keep it empty, and everything from here, it will go here, and that part of crown will be here. Not much bigger than it's now. And also the big carving job here and reduction of this one. It's early stages of development. It's not any kind of mature tree. It's a good 5-6 years since collecting. It's very raw material. It needs a lot of time. You need to grow those branches, some kind of wiring. But I think we are getting there. If I was talking about if the ash is good species to be bonsai, you can check it now. These are my two ashes, which were brother and sister of this ash, collected from same space just a decade earlier. And I think with the proper care and with really hard pruning back, count on back budding of the tree, continual creation of very fine ramification, the size of a foliage gets much smaller to that size like this leaf. Compare it to any kind of apical leaf which was there. So it's a huge difference. So you can have many or almost all the leaves on a tree like that with very dense ramification, which is absolutely doable on that kind of tree and on this species. It's very vigorous. As you can see, all this growth was created only in 2 months' time since repotting. So the tree has a lot of energy despite having a lot of root mass removed in March 2026, and still tree is pushing very strongly and generating a lot of new growth. Of course, there is a slow release fertilizer, Osmocote Exact, 5 to 6 months in this mix, which is generating a lot of push for this tree, and this is really good. You need really a lot of growth for creating this kind of raw structure on a tree. So I think that's all from today with this ash, and in case you have any kind of questions or your experience with ashes, drop down your remark in the comment section. In case you would do something differently on that tree, I'm curious if you would dare to keep 4 trunks or not. In case you would remove one of those trunks, I'm curious which one. The big one, the second biggest one, that one, or the smallest one. Let me know. And that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.